When you're dealing with someone who has an avoidant nature, every word you speak can either gently invite them closer or quietly push them deeper into their emotional cave. Most people don't realize this and end up trying far too hard. They over-explain what they feel, over-pursue attention, and over-give energy, hoping it will create closeness. But an avoidant senses this immediately. Their inner system reads it as pressure, and the moment pressure appears, they shut down. They don't do this to be cruel or distant on purpose. It's simply how they learn to survive emotionally. Yet there are a few quiet, steady phrases that slip past their defenses without triggering fear. These words don't force a reaction. They don't manipulate or corner them. Instead, they softly change the emotional dynamic, so you become the person they feel calm around, the person they respect, and the person they think about long after the conversation ends. When you say to an avoidant, "It's okay," you're not just offering two simple words. You're gently rewriting an emotional story they've been living with for most of their life. Many avoidant people grow up believing that closeness is dangerous, that emotions eventually lead to conflict, and that connection always comes with expectations they can't meet. Somewhere along the way, they learned that people want too much from them, emotionally and mentally. So when someone shows disappointment, urgency, or emotional intensity, their body reacts before their mind has time to process it. They pull back, not because they don't care, but because pulling back feels like safety. Their nervous system has been trained to retreat in order to protect itself. That's why this small phrase lands so deeply. When you say, "It's okay," you're showing them you're not going to punish them for needing space. You're not going to explode, guilt trip them, or panic when they go quiet. You're showing a level of emotional steadiness they rarely encounter. Most people respond to avoidant behavior with fear. Why didn't you reply? Did I do something wrong? Why are you suddenly distant? Even when these questions come from insecurity rather than control, the avoidant hears danger. Their deepest wound gets activated, the fear that someone wants more from them than they are able to give. But your calm response tells a completely different story. It tells them you're grounded, and because you're grounded, you stand out. Later, they start thinking about you, replaying the moment you didn't react the way they expected. They remember how your energy felt open instead of tight, relaxed instead of demanding. You become the one person who didn't try to pull something out of them or force an emotional response. "It's okay" also sends another message they don't consciously expect. It communicates emotional independence. It tells them that while you enjoy their presence, your emotional world doesn't collapse when they need distance. You're not spiraling because they went silent. You're not turning their behavior into a statement about your worth or value. This is deeply attractive to someone who is secretly terrified of being responsible for another person's emotions. Your calm gives them room to breathe. And when someone finally feels like they can breathe, they often move closer without even realizing why. What makes these words so powerful is that avoidance relaxes around people who don't use guilt. Guilt feels like a trap to them. Safety feels like freedom. When they feel safe, their thoughts linger on you. They wonder why you didn't get upset. They wonder how you stayed so steady. They wonder why being around you feels lighter than being around others. That curiosity slowly grows into longing, and that longing can turn into obsession, not because you played a game, but because your presence feels like peace instead of pressure. When someone who fears closeness finally feels safe with you, they don't forget you. They think about you again and again because you represent an emotional experience they've never truly had but always wanted deep down. You become associated with relief instead of tension, with comfort instead of demand. When you tell an avoidant, "Take your time," you're offering something almost no one has ever given them without hidden expectations. Avoidant people spend much of their life feeling rushed to open up, rushed to explain themselves, rushed to respond, rushed to be emotionally available before they feel ready. Pressure follows them into nearly every connection, and because pressure feels threatening, they pull away the moment they sense it, even if they care deeply. But when you say, take your time, you remove the very thing they're guarding against. You're not chasing them. You're not demanding clarity right now. You're not trying to control the pace of the connection. You're allowing space, and that space makes them curious instead of defensive. This phrase signals emotional safety in a rare and powerful way. It tells them you won't punish them for moving at their own rhythm. You're not adding more weight to what they already carry emotionally. In fact, you're lifting something off their shoulders. Avoidant people run fastest from pressure, so the person who removes pressure becomes unforgettable. Your willingness to let things unfold naturally shows emotional security. It shows you don't need constant reassurance or constant closeness to feel valued. And that quiet confidence is magnetic to someone who struggles with intimacy. Saying take your time doesn't mean you don't have needs. It doesn't mean you're lowering your standards or settling for less. It simply means you refuse to let fear dictate the connection. You're choosing something real over something rushed. Avoidant people feel that difference even if they never say it out loud. They know when someone is trying to emotionally corner them, and they also know when someone is offering space without withdrawing care or warmth. That distinction matters more to them than words can fully explain. When they sense that you're not trying to trap them emotionally, they start to relax. And when they relax, their natural curiosity pulls them closer. Over time, they associate you with calm moments, with conversations that don't drain them, with a sense of being accepted as they are, rather than pushed to become something else. That emotional memory stays with them, even when they're not around you. They think about how different it felt. How there was no pressure to perform, no demand to prove themselves, no fear of disappointing you, and that feeling quietly draws them back again and again, often before they even understand what's happening. The truth is, avoidant people don't fall for intensity. They fall for safety. They don't open up to force, they open up to steadiness. And the simple, gentle words you choose can make all the difference between someone retreating further into their shell or slowly stepping closer, not because they were pushed, but because they finally felt free. Here is what often catches people off guard. The moment an avoidant senses that you are not trying to hurry them, everything begins to shift. The emotional energy changes quietly. The chase reverses without anyone saying a word. They begin to wonder why you seem so calm. They think about you more because your presence does not match the fear-driven patterns they are familiar with. You feel different to them. You become a mystery, but in a healthy and grounding way. You are someone who is not desperate for instant answers, someone who is not threatened by silence or time, someone who trusts that things unfold naturally. That kind of energy creates a powerful pull. Avoidant people think constantly about the person who feels like safety wrapped in patience. They move closer, not because they were pushed, pressured, or cornered, but because they were not. When you tell an avoidant, "I respect that," you are speaking straight to their nervous system. It is a language they rarely hear, yet deeply crave. Many avoidant people grew up feeling misunderstood, corrected, or judged. Their feelings were often ignored, minimized, or labeled as wrong. Over time, they learned it was safer to keep everything inside. Distance became their shield. Emotional space became protection. So when you respond with, "I respect that," you remove the sense of danger. You are not challenging how they feel. You are not demanding explanations. You are not pushing them toward vulnerability before they are ready. You are allowing them to exist exactly as they are, without resistance or pressure. This phrase communicates emotional maturity without emotional demand. Most people respond to avoidance with irritation or confusion. They ask, "Why are you like this? Why can't you open up? Why can't you just talk about it?" Every time an avoidant hears those questions, it reinforces their belief that closeness leads to conflict, tension, or emotional overwhelm. But when you respond with calm respect, it tells them something very different. It tells them you are not fighting their nature. You are not trying to change who they are. You are not trying to win control or an argument. You are simply trying to understand, and feeling understood stays with them long after they retreat into their space. What makes "I respect that" so powerful is that it shows you are not trying to control the direction of the connection. You are not reshaping them to fit your pace or timeline. You are giving them permission to be human. And when they feel that level of respect, something subtle shifts inside them. They begin to respect you in return. They start to see you as someone safe, someone emotionally steady, someone they can return to when they feel ready. That kind of emotional safety is rare for avoidant people, and rarity creates attachment. There is an even deeper effect that most people miss. When you respect their perspective, they begin to question their own distance. They think about you when they are alone. Not because you demanded closeness, but because you did not. You did not argue with them. You did not shame them. You did not make them feel broken or difficult. You simply met them where they were. That experience leaves a lasting imprint. An avoidant will always remember the person who made them feel accepted without pressure or judgment. That is what makes you unforgettable. Avoidant people are especially drawn to those who communicate with clarity. Clarity removes what frightens them most: emotional chaos. They do not fear love itself. They fear the emotional storms that often come with it. They fear being overwhelmed, trapped, or pulled into heavy emotional cycles they cannot escape. So when you communicate clearly, calmly, and honestly, you stand out immediately. You become the person whose presence feels stable instead of confusing. Clear communication gives them certainty without suffocation. When you say what you mean, they do not have to guess your intentions. When your words match your actions, they do not brace themselves for sudden changes. When your tone stays calm and steady, their body relaxes. That consistency allows them to feel safe enough to stay mentally connected to you, even when they need physical or emotional space. And safety is what keeps their mind returning to you again and again, long after the moment has passed. With most people, they feel the need to stay guarded. With you, something begins to soften. They slowly start to trust, not because you demanded it or pushed for it, but because you removed the need for self-protection. Many avoidant people have experienced relationships filled with pressure, constant expectations, emotional swings, or subtle manipulation. They learned early that closeness often comes with a price, so when they meet someone who communicates with honesty, intention, and emotional balance, it creates a calm contrast they are not used to. Their body loosens, their mind slows, their system feels safe, and safety is the true foundation of attraction for an avoidant. They begin thinking about you because interactions with you do not drain them. Talking to you does not exhaust them or leave them confused. It does not feel like a battlefield where they must defend themselves or plan an exit. Instead, it feels grounded, steady, and secure. Your words carry no hidden pressure. Your presence does not demand effort or performance. That sense of ease stays with them long after the interaction ends and quietly pulls them back toward you in their thoughts. Clarity also signals confidence. It shows that you are not afraid to express what you want, but you are also not forcing intimacy or rushing closeness. You are not pushing for commitment. You are not trying to extract reassurance. You are simply showing up open, calm, and emotionally grounded. That energy leaves a deep impression. Avoidant people are naturally drawn to those who communicate from emotional stability, because emotional stability is something they struggle to maintain within themselves. You become the calm anchor they did not even realize they were looking for. This is where the quiet shift truly happens. Clear communication creates space. Space allows curiosity to grow. Curiosity opens the door to connection. When avoidant people feel understood without being pressured, something changes inside them. They start staying mentally connected to the person who made them feel that way. They replay conversations. They remember how your voice felt calm instead of demanding. They remember how your words felt light instead of heavy. Over time, clarity turns into attraction. Attraction turns into safety. And safety becomes the reason they cannot stop thinking about you long after the moment has passed. These simple phrases create a deep psychological shift inside avoidant people because they interrupt a pattern they have relied on for years. Avoidant people are wired to protect themselves by pulling away, shutting down, or creating distance when closeness feels too intense. This reaction is automatic. It is their shield against emotional pain. But when you respond with calm, respect, and emotional steadiness, you break the pattern they expect. Instead of reacting with frustration, fear, or pressure like people from their past, you offer something unfamiliar. You offer safety, and safety is the one thing that slowly lowers their defenses. When they realize you are not trying to force connection or chase them into intimacy, they begin to lean in emotionally, not suddenly, not dramatically, but quietly and over time. They start noticing how different you feel compared to everyone else. They notice how calm interactions with you feel. They notice how their body does not tense around you. And that difference becomes the reason you stay in their thoughts, even when you are not there. These phrases work because they remove emotional pressure and reduce fear at its core. When you say it's okay, you are telling them that their need for space will not be punished, questioned, or taken personally. You are letting them know they do not have to defend themselves or explain their emotions. When you say take your time, you are showing that you are not trying to rush the bond, force closeness, or control where things are going. You are allowing the connection to breathe naturally. When you say, I respect that, you are signaling that their feelings are valid and do not need approval or justification. Together, these words speak directly to the avoidant nervous system in a way that feels calm and grounding. They send a clear message that closeness does not equal danger. They say that being near you does not come with pressure, demands, or emotional consequences. And when the nervous system begins to relax, connection finally becomes possible. The urge to run starts to soften. The instinct to shut down loses strength. Slowly, the desire to return begins to grow. Avoidant people also start noticing how different they feel around you compared to others. Their body is not tense. Their mind is not racing ahead, preparing for conflict or emotional overwhelm. They are not silently planning how to escape or pull away. Instead, they feel seen without being crowded. They feel acknowledged without being pushed. That emotional experience is extremely rare for them. Many avoidant people go through life feeling misunderstood or pressured in close connections. So when they meet someone who does not react with anxiety or control, it stands out deeply, and rare emotional experiences become unforgettable. They begin to think about how easy it felt to talk to you. They replay moments where your tone felt supportive rather than demanding. They remember how you stayed steady instead of reacting with hurt, anger, or fear when they needed distance. That memory does not fade. It quietly pulls them back toward you, not out of obligation, not out of guilt, but out of genuine attraction and emotional safety. What makes this shift even more powerful is the confidence behind these phrases. They show that you are not afraid of space. You're not afraid of silence. You are not afraid of someone moving at their own pace. That confidence is noticeable because avoidant people often expect the opposite. They expect insecurity, chasing, emotional reactions, or pressure, but you do not give them that experience. Your steadiness gently flips their internal story. Instead of seeing closeness as something risky, they begin to associate it with safety, calm, and your presence. Over time, your energy becomes something they feel drawn to without fully understanding why. That is when you become the person they think about often. Not because you pursued them, not because you demanded reassurance, but because you gave them an emotional experience their nervous system recognizes as safe. Even after they pull back, your presence stays in their mind. Even after the conversation ends, the feeling they had with you lingers. They may not talk about it openly, but they notice it. When you use these phrases consistently, the emotional dynamic starts to change completely. Instead of chasing the avoidant person, you naturally draw them toward you. Your energy communicates calm strength and self-respect. Avoidant people are wired to escape pressure and emotional unpredictability. But when they meet someone who does not panic, guilt trip, or push for closeness, it creates a powerful and quiet magnetic pull. They begin to realize that you are different from others they have known, someone who honors boundaries, someone who values emotional balance, someone who does not react to distance with fear or insecurity. This realization sparks curiosity. Curiosity leads them to replay moments in their mind. Mental replay slowly deepens emotional attachment. They find themselves thinking about you long after interactions end. They may wonder why your words felt so steady. They may question why being around you felt easier than they expected. This shift is powerful because it places you in the role of emotional leader without trying to control anything. Avoidant people are drawn to those who respect their independence while still holding quiet confidence. When you speak calmly and say, "It's okay, take your time, I respect that," you show that you are grounded in your own worth. You are not seeking validation, you are not chasing approval, and that tells them that being with you feels light, safe, and rewarding instead of heavy or stressful. Your emotional independence makes them want to move closer rather than run away. The psychological effect grows stronger with time. When avoidant people repeatedly experience someone who responds without drama, who honors their pace, and who respects their feelings, it leaves a deep impression. They cannot stop thinking about it. They begin to study your behavior. They replay your calm reactions. They wonder why you feel so different from everyone else. That mental loop builds admiration. Admiration grows into curiosity. Curiosity slowly turns into quiet longing. Over time, these phrases and the energy behind them create a lasting emotional imprint. The avoidant person may still pull back at times, because that is part of their pattern. But even when they do, their thoughts keep returning to you. You represent something rare to them, a connection that feels safe without being dull, calm without being weak, strong without being controlling. You are no longer just another person who chased, pressured, or demanded closeness. You become the one who knew how to hold space without losing self-respect. That balance is deeply memorable. When an avoidant person experiences this, they do not just respect you, they think about you often even when you are not present. You become the emotional experience they cannot easily replace. You are the one who stays in their mind through curiosity, admiration, and quiet desire. Understanding how avoidant people think and feel is the key to creating a connection they cannot ignore. These three phrases are not manipulation. They are simple expressions of emotional intelligence. They work because they meet the avoidant where they are, without force or fear. By staying calm, honoring space, and showing respect without desperation, you move past their defenses and into their awareness. Avoidant people always think about those who make them feel safe, understood, and emotionally steady. When you master this approach, you step into a rare place in their mind and heart. You stop chasing, you stop proving yourself, you stop over-explaining. Instead, you inspire curiosity, respect, and emotional pull that brings them back again and again. In the end, you become the person they cannot stop remembering, the person they quietly long for, the one they subconsciously realize they cannot replace. Mastering this kind of communication does not just change how they see you, it changes how they feel about you on a deep emotional level. And once that shift happens, it stays with them for a very long time, shaping how they think about connection, closeness, and you.